episode number 159 with Gavin Smith. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
And this is his loyal assistant, Mike Snyderman.
Mike Snyderman. How the hell are you, Mikey?
Loyal's not really the word, Steve.
Dedicated, committed.
I'll shiv you in the back for $100 if the situation calls for it.
Right on.
What episode are you on? Are we on here?
159.
Wow.
I know. It seems like yesterday we were both in our basements recording this thing, and then here we are. Now we got Gavin Smith. Right. The legend. I thought this, we just recorded it. I thought this interview was, it took a little bit getting going, but I think it was fun.
Yeah, you sense that there's other places he might want to have been today, but we had some interesting stuff.
Oh, he was cool, though. He was cool. Oh, and we have the winner of the Zach Elwood video series. Stay tuned to the end of the show for that.
What exactly is that, Steve? I'm sorry, I'm ignorant.
We had Zach Elwood on, and he gave away a video series that he did. So he's written several books, and he gave away a Live Tells video series. And so I've watched them twice already. They're awesome. Yeah, he basically takes poker tournaments where you can see the hole cards, and then he reads people at the table, and he shows different things that they're doing. When people are acting relaxed, when they're acting kind of tense, they're more likely to be bluffing, things like that. He's got 26 videos in there. Each one's about anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes, and then the last one's a 2-hour long heads-up video.
We're getting some useful stuff here, Steve.
Yes, we're shaking and moving, man.
Where you were offering free hand jobs for anyone who's even listening.
I know, and now we're giving away these video series. This is definitely a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned.
Although some people were pro hand jobs, so let's not. It wasn't like giving like a rotten apple core. It was something people need.
But, something they could use. Walk away with a smile on their face. So how'd it go with Carlos? Is he out?
Well, he might be sitting outside the door. I changed the locks.
Okay.
Now it was fun, of course. I think he's actually coming back here for a while.
Oh, cool.
We both had a sick little run good while he was here, which is kind of funny.
Nice.
And he left, and last night I lost 3,100 at the casino. So I don't,
Shit. We need to go back.
And, just played horribly. But, I did a sick run at cash, and he was doing well at tournaments. And, he barely left the house. He was just grinding the online thing. And that's sometimes we would, barely see each other over the course of a day. But, mission accomplished. He had fun. I wanted someone to come and marvel at my beautiful new apartment. And, for Carlos, he's like, if he got high-speed internet, it's like living at the Ritz. Everything else he doesn't really give a shit about.
Yes. Oh, that's cool.
What's new with you, Stevie? Anything?
Oh, let's see. I had to work a lot the last week, but I have the next 5 days off, so I'm kind of excited about that. My buddy's birthday is tomorrow, so me and some other friends are going to go up to Santa Barbara and take him out. And then his wife always does, air quotes, surprise for him on his birthday every year. And she'll come up with some theme, like we're all supposed to wear, red hats or something like that. And then we take him out, and then he comes back and finds the birthday cake. It's kind of cute. But so I'm going to be playing along with that. And then later on, I've got to go down to L.A., my buddy and I do, because we're going to China this year. And we got to get a visa.
Wow.
We're going to go see the Great Wall. We're going to see the Terracotta Soldiers. Then we're going to go down to Hong Kong, over to Laos. And then after that, we're going to finish up in Thailand and then head on home. So shortly after that will be the WSOP. So I'm excited.
Shouldn't you start the trip off with the Thai hookers and finish in China? You're doing it backwards, aren't you?
I'm doing it backwards. I feel like it's a farewell send-off,
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It'll be cool.
I think Steve is. There's no Vegas for me this summer.
No.
I mean, we're getting close enough to like talking with Alex about, are you in on the house and stuff. And I don't think it's going to happen for me. It's surprising. I had so much fun last summer, even while losing so much money. And obviously, going deep in a tournament is my greatest pleasure in life. So, not to have that opportunity, but anyways. I'm just letting you know ahead of time, Steve, so you don't show up and find out that I'm not coming and just burst into tears.
We say this every year, Mike, or I should say, you say this every year, and every year you go. You can make it happen.
There's a couple of years ago where I was just busted.
We'll get you backed. We'll do whatever we're going to do. Well, even if you only got to play the $500 tournaments or something.
It really is, Steve. I mean, at least not in terms of poker skill, but in terms of mentality, I'm really kind of a real pro now. And just breaking it down, it's all about the hourly wage and trying to, first of all, I got a big nut now. I need to make, so even if I go there, I mean, if we want to do like the whole break it down, first of all, it's just even like we've discussed it, even those like $300 Venetian tournaments a few years ago, I sat down next to I had played with Joseph Chung on my left like 3 straight days. So they're tough. So I don't know what my overall expected ROI is in Vegas. Let me just give my credit for, say, 40%. So I go there and play 2 months and play $40,000 in buy-ins. And let's say that's, okay, there's $16K profit. But if I got to sell my action, okay, let's just say we're down half my action. There's $8K profit. And I got to rent a house. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, there is the possibility of something much more. But in terms of like an hourly wage, even if I get backed and take variance out of there, it's just not as good probably as staying home and grinding some ignition tournaments. And so, yeah, I could try to get backed. I could do that. I'm not saying I won't do that for sure. But, yeah, I've been thinking about this. The other thing is my son was 10, is 10. These are the best times before the adolescent. So I don't want to miss that. And there's just leaving all that on the single mother's a little tough. Like last year at this time, he goes, when I'm around, he goes to karate 3-4 times a week. When she's alone, maybe once a week. He just has less fun, I think, when I'm not around. Okay. So there's a whole thing. And like I said, Bitcoin dipping, my bankroll just couldn't take it going. Like I said, if Bitcoin all of a sudden moons to like 25, 30K over the next 2 months, where I could like sell a Bitcoin, then the temptation will be stronger. But and moreover, I think I'm incapable of just going there for a week and playing a couple tournaments because I'll want to fucking stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I fucking min cash the Millionaire Maker after getting in aces in pre-flop or something, I'll be like, okay, I need to fire a few more here.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. But anyways, that's.
Well, you don't have to come out for the full 2 months either. You can do a week or week and a half, and then come back for a week and a half, and then come back out.
But anyways, I'm kind of like I said. I think this was a necessary change for me, and it just mentally, like just approach to the game. It's not just like play lots of poker and get that big score. And which is obviously very faulty. It doesn't have to be all the way to like. I mean, there are guys there who've had tournament success who just think that I play with who just think tournaments are absolutely stupid. They'll never play them again.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're not profitable, and it's just you're wasting your time sitting there through these massive fields. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever get rid of tournaments. It's in my blood. And like I said, my ego has not quite been satisfied here. You know what I mean? I need a little televised final table that my dad can see or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want one of those too.
But anyways, I don't know. This is where I'm at mentally right now is no to Vegas. But we'll see, Steve.
Well, I still got a few months to make a dent, so I'll see what I can do.
Right. Well, I know you're going.
Oh, yeah. I already got the time off of work.
I
am excited.
I mean, I'm such a bad, shallow, envious man, Steve. If you actually go deep in one of these events, I'm going to have to, like, smash my computer just so I can get updates.
I'll just send you text. Should we get on to Gavin Smith?
Absolutely.
All righty. Without further ado, Gavin Smith. What's your warm-up routine before you play cards? I'll tell you what mine is. I gotta have me some Elliot Roe. Yes, I will not play a hand of poker unless I listen to that man's voice first. Hypnosis and meditation tapes just before you play so you can focus completely. Listen to an MP3 before you play. You can put it on your phone, your computer, your tablet. He's got them for everything. Relaxing the poker mind. Hypnosis for life value pack. Maybe you need to be playing a little more and the simple volume system is for you. You can try it for free as 7-Minute Tilt Buster. The links are in the show notes or at headsuppoker.poker. This is the next step in poker, the Mindset Advantage by Elliot Roe. Use the code HUPOKER and score yourself a discount. Elliot Roe. Thank you for coming on, Gavin. It's pretty cool to have you on. You've got the 10th all-time in money in poker, 41st overall, 10th in Canada. You've got over $6 million in cashes and tournaments. I'm kind of curious about how you got started in poker. And from what I was able to find online, you started playing poker when you were 25, 26 years old. You became a dealer, and then you opened up your own poker club.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I mean, I played before I was 25, but, you used to play at, at the golf course where you played all the wild card games and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
But then, we used to have roving charity casinos in Canada. That would be at a place for 3 days, and one came to my hometown, and me and a couple buddies went there, and they were starting up this Texas Hold'em game, and my buddies are like, "You should play. You play poker," and I'm like, "I don't give it a shot. I don't know the rules or anything, but whatever."
Yeah.
And I sat down and sort of just went from there.
Okay. What was the poker club? Was that at like your house, or was it actually like a business, or? No,
we rented an industrial space.
Okay.
Once in around, I think about 96 or 97, they closed the roving casinos where I used to deal because they were opening 3 government casinos, but none of them were in our area. So instead of we just decided to run a game there so people wouldn't have to drive an hour and a half to go play poker.
Yeah.
And we ran for a bit.
And now, what were like the laws with that? Like, do you have to get a bunch of licenses or stuff, or?
No, it was completely illegal.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one way to do it.
I was just going to ask, how'd you end up in Houston? Is that like wife's family? There's not. Are you kind of more of a businessman than a poker player there? Because there's no. Am I wrong about that? Aren't there like no casinos in Houston?
There's poker everywhere you go, but I don't know. I went through kind of a crappy divorce last year and ended up getting 100% custody of my boys, and just felt like a new location would be better for us than staying in Anchorage. And I had an opportunity to come down here where I had a house waiting for me in a car, and could do a few things. And we're in a good school district, so I just decided, what the heck, we'll go try Houston.
Okay. I can relate to the divorce. I just went through one myself. It was
yeah.
They're they are brutal, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and every day it does get better. But yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, like, I'm good now. It's been almost a year since it's been finalized, so.
Okay.
I'm
you're
fine
further
with it now.
along. Yeah. Okay. Mine was supposed to be finalized 13 days ago. Not that I'm counting, but the courts are backed up quite a bit, so I'm waiting on them.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. Well, good for you. You came out the other side. And you got 2 boys, Kingston and Keegan, right?
Correct.
How old are they?
They are 6 and 7.
Okay. Boy, you have your hands full.
Yeah, it's a bit of work. But it's all right.
Right on. Well, you've done something that I hope to do someday. You've won a WSOP bracelet. You've won WPT. Right. I'm kind of interested in this bet that I read about between you and Ali Prescott. Something. If you won the tournament, then Prescott was going to have to give you $70K a year, $70,000 a year for 10 years. And if Prescott won, you were going to have to give him $100K per year for 10 years.
Correct.
You came runner-up in that tournament, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the story? This is good.
Well, we were, Allie and I were friends, and we were hanging out on day one. We were hanging out, and we went out to whatever that street is, Bourbon Street or whatever the heck it's called, in New Orleans. And so we're drinking and we're having fun. And quite frankly, we both had above average chips, and my bet was more just because I had a few more chips than him, but my bet was more just because I didn't think he could win the tournament.
Yeah.
And I knew I could. So then we made the bet, and then we ended up both making the final table. But I actually took Phil Ivey out in a monster pot on the day before the final table on that one, and I went to the final table with a little over half the chips.
Oh, wow.
So I was in pretty good shape. And then even when we got heads up, I got heads up with Peter Feldman, and I got my money all in with 2 kings against his 2 sixes and had him covered. And we brought Allie up to the stage, and he flopped a 6 and turned quads.
Wow.
And then he went on to win the tournament. So yeah, it was a kind of an interesting bet.
How many players were left when you made that bet?
We did it on day one.
Oh my God! How many days?
The whole tournament it was a 4-day tournament.
Wow, that is pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool. And what's the story? You have a tattoo on your shoulder. This is something I could very easily see myself doing, and I almost did. I was down in San Diego on a bachelor party. I had shaved my head into a mohawk for it, and we walked by a tattoo parlor, and somebody, I think somebody bet me that I could get a tattoo on my arm that said A shift rules. And I'm a fireman, and there's 3 different shifts. There's the A shift, the B shift, and the C shift. So this tattoo would confine me to one shift for the rest of my career. And I was fully ready to do it. The tattoo shop was closed, thank God. But
Yeah, the one on the back is because I believe it was at the LAPC. Joe Seabach and I did a Last Longer. We had a show called Prop Bets on a thing called Raw Vegas years ago.
Okay.
Which is it's no longer, and so we did a prop bet on the Last Longer at LAPC, and the loser had to get the winner's initials tattooed on his back. So now I thought this was a free roll for me because my mother's name is Joan Smith.
Oh.
So it doesn't really hurt for me to have JS on my back.
Yeah, good point.
So I took the wager and I lost, and now I've got JS on my back.
That's awesome. Right on.
And I just wanted to ask about looking at your Hendon. I went out. I cashed the main event like 630th place, and you went out probably like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
I was just going to cure. I mean, I have I'm always like ruing over certain hands I misplayed. Is there like one hand from the tournament you're like, oh, I wish that it did that,
No.
or are you pretty good at, getting knocked out of a tournament?
Sometimes I have those instances, but this year in the main event is actually, I think it's the best tournament I've ever played. The first 3 days I never made a call when the river was wrong. Then on day 4 when I got knocked out, I flopped a set. A guy turned the straight. Raised me on the turn, and I mucked it, and he showed me the straight. And then I just had a whole series of hands. On my last hand, I just had, I was down to like 120,000 at ace king, and the guy had 2 queens, and I didn't hit. So I don't feel like I made any mistakes in the main event this year.
Well, that's good.
That's cool.
I actually counted a guy's stack wrong. If that's when he shoved, that's about as bad as it gets.
That's kind of a bad mistake.
Yeah. I was also going to just regarding your Hendon too. I'm guessing this has a lot to do with family and just not being able to travel. But I assume you're not playing as many live tournaments as you did back. Is that partly due to just the competitions got tougher? It's just not.
No, it's got nothing to do with competition. It's got to do with being a single dad of 2 kids.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm not playing. I'm barely playing any tournaments. Last year I played, I don't know, maybe 3 tournaments at the World Series, and that might have been all I played. This year my intention is to play the World Poker Tour Tournament of Championship, Tournament of Champions. And then I haven't decided how much of the World Series I'll play. That's going to depend on whether or not I want to take the kids out to Vegas for the summer or not. But probably I'll play, maybe, if I had to guess, maybe 10 tournaments during the World Series.
Okay. Do you miss that kind of, not being able to, like, a full-time tournament grinder?
I don't know. I mean, the travel got old. You know, it's hard. It's hard when you're on the road like eight months a year, you know. It's kind of fun, but it sucks living in hotels. You know, I kind of like being in my home. I like being around my kids. I like, you know, having a little bit of structure. So, I mean, I enjoyed it while I was doing it, but I don't think I really miss it that much.
Okay.
Are you still involved in Poker Night in America? I'm sorry. Our research assistant died in a hibachi fire, so we're kind of. I just Googled here, but I saw you were kind of. Yeah, if I can give a kind of a long-winded question, I don't know if this is something you're consciously doing, but a lot of people say one of the reasons the poker boom kind of slowed down is that, like, so much of, like, the TV content just sucked. So I don't know. Is that kind of, you know, how'd you get involved in Poker Night in America?
Well, I got involved with Poker Night in America because I'm good friends with Todd Anderson, who runs it, who founded the Heartland Poker Tour.
Okay.
And to answer the rest of the question, I kind of agree a little bit that poker content sucks, but that's not the reason the poker boom slowed down. The reason the poker boom slowed down, and the reason why poker on TV sucks, is because the United States banned the internet.
Right.
When internet was around here, there was all kinds of players. There was all kinds of money. That Full Tilt and Poker Stars were both making these great shows, and once they took that away, you know, there's no real money in poker shows anymore, and there's no real reason for players to go on them. I mean, you know, you don't really need any exposure. You're not getting anything out of it anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, in terms of, you were like at the center of the poker boom, and you were a Full Tilt pro or Poker Stars, I forget.
Yeah, no, it's Full Tilt.
Full Tilt.
I mean, being like one of the Poker Stars back then, how am I trying to say this? Did you get a sense at all that, you know, this can't go on? The explosion's been so great. I need to, like, pull some money out and be cautious because this is not going to be as lucrative forever.
No, I wish I had talked to you while it was going on.
Oh.
I thought it would never end.
I wonder if we're doing the same with Bitcoin now. I feel like there's a little mini poker boom that's happening now because of the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies. It's so easy to get money on and off these sites.
I think the cryptocurrency is hurting poker.
Really?
I think a lot of people are taking the money out of poker and putting it into the cryptos instead.
Ah, interesting. I felt it's the other way around, but I have absolutely no.
No, I think I told you, Steve, at the casino I play at, I think some of the players are kind of almost overrolled for the game I play. You know what I mean? They've managed their money in that respect pretty well.
That's cool.
Also, going back to the poker, I thought this was interesting. You know, somebody was interviewing you, asking about all the players coming in, and is it getting tougher? And you said yes, but you know, you worked hard and adapted at it. Is that although maybe you're not getting as much in sponsorship and the money's not flying around, but just to survive is an accomplishment. No, in poker, to play it this long.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, nobody lasts forever. I mean, like, I've lasted 20 years, which is shocking to even myself. But I mean, I have a lot of confidence in my abilities, so you know, I think I can compete with anybody.
See,
I think I still can today. I don't think I'm any worse today than I was 10 years ago.
Do you have any buddies from the boom who we might recognize from television? Not to call them out, who just were unable to adapt or refused to adapt and kind of died from the game for that reason?
I mean, most of my close buddies have all done okay and have stayed in the game. But I mean, I've seen, over the last 20 years, I've seen thousands of players come and go that, they were going to be the next great thing in their minds and then, didn't make it. I mean, there's been so many of them.
What do you think has led to your, 20 years in the business, that's a feat in itself. What do you think is, like, if you could give like one golden nugget, what's allowed you to play with some of the best in the world and be one of the best in the world?
I guess I'm just really lucky.
Well, I think you're selling yourself short there, Brad. When I hear you speak, I hear
Steve was looking for some sort of Buddhist wisdom where he could climb a mountain and meet you at the top.
We'll pick the lint in our belly button.
I mean, I don't know that there is one. I mean, I think that you can learn a lot in poker. I think you can get to a certain level in poker by learning. And I mean, I've done a lot of learning over the years, but I think that at the end of the day, it's the same as hockey. It's the same as downhill skiing. It's the same as golf. It's the same as water skiing. It's the same as anything else. You either have it or you don't. And, and I'm lucky that I think I have it. I was lucky enough to be born with something that I get it. And I see things that perhaps other people don't see.
Yeah. Well, another thing I hear when you speak is this underlying kind of quiet confidence that I think is probably a big contributor to your success as well.
I don't think there's much about me quiet.
I was going to say that. I don't know if you would have been offended. Back, another Poker Boom question. Are you still I don't know how it felt at the time. Like you said, 20 years, you were playing poker without any, I'm guessing, desire for fame or the expectation of the anonymity, and then you're like a poker star. Are you still, was that fun? And are you still, I'm guessing, when you do show up at a casino, are you still getting people ask for your autograph kind of thing? Does that happen?
Well, yeah, when I started, there was no such thing as poker fame. It was just, I wanted to play a game for a living instead of actually working. It was an opportunity to travel around, drive my car all over the country and play tournaments, and play little tiny tournaments. Getting the fame or well-known, I wouldn't go as far as to call it fame, getting to be reasonably well-known, it was interesting. I mean, at times it was a pain in the butt, but, it was always nice that people would take time out of the day to come and say hello to you. So, I never really turned people away. And, I still get when I go to a casino, I get recognized every time.
That's cool.
I was going to ask about the other thing. I saw something interesting you said, and I totally agree. You were like, I don't know if this was the worst part of poker going mainstream, but in terms of live poker, people started tanking a lot more and being unsocial at the table, sitting there stone faced with their sunglasses on. Is poker gotten worse in that respect?
Yeah, it bothers the shit out of me. I don't like it.
Yeah, and that
people taking too long. They think the cameras are on them, and I've never worn sunglasses a game in my life.
We need to, we need a shot clock.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the point on just act in your hand. Basically, what so I went to a Mansion Poker free roll years ago, where we had a shot clock. I think we were given 15 seconds, or whatever, and then you got one timeout or something like that. And the only time I ever used my timeout was to comment on another guy's hand because they were making a mistake. And, I mean, for me, it was no problem because I'm a fast player anyways. And because I think the first decision you got is usually the right one. I think we overthink things a lot.
The one that drives me crazy, I agree with the shot clock. I would say at least pre-flop, where people kind of, they sort of know their decisions, but where people ask before they even look at their hand pre-flop, it's for the action before them. The person directly on their right has raised, and then they turn to the dealer and say, I mean, I don't know if specifically with that's the one that just has me pulling my hair out, where they ask for they don't even look at their cards and, start tanking.
No, so the bottom line is, we play poker primarily to have fun. I mean, obviously some of us make a living, but most don't. So primarily we play poker for fun, to have fun. It's not fun when it's slow.
Yeah.
It just isn't. That takes the fun away from it.
Yeah. The one that gets me is when they do a misdeal. And, one player doesn't get an extra card or something like that, and they pull it all back and they shuffle it all up. It's like, just throw them another card. It's off the top of it. It's random. Nobody cares. Just play,
I think they usually do that.
Do you think, in terms of the possibility of another boom, I kind of weigh in on the fact that, if poker can stay as strong as it is now, where you can still make a living, we should kind of be grateful. But let's assume that we do get legalized internet poker and PokerStars comes back to the U.S. Do you think that'll lead to a boom? I mean, my theory is that there's just so many Europeans playing perfectly on the site that a lot of Americans are just going to get raped and just never want to play poker again. But I don't know. No,
that's completely incorrect. Okay. There's very few people playing perfectly on the site. There's a lot of Europeans on the site playing like crap too. If it gets legalized in the United States again, it'll be like a freaking landslide. It'll be unbelievable.
Okay, that's great. It is funny where we, the land of freedom, guns and every de facto legalization of drugs, everything but damn internet poker.
True.
Right.
True.
Yeah, I think
they could build the wall by legalizing internet poker.
They could.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's funny. Not to go. I meant to ask right at the beginning when we were talking about Houston. I forgot. I got a buddy down there. Of course, his house was almost destroyed in the floods. Were you affected by that at all?
I was really lucky. The area that I'm in, I'm really close to the woodlands, and we got no damage whatsoever. We just had to stay in. I think we lost power for maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
We were just stranded inside the house. We couldn't really go anywhere for a few days. But no, we had no damage. My house was fine.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Right on.
Well, I was just going to ask about the taxi driving because I've been an Uber driver on and off for a few weeks here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I tell anyone who's asking about, I have, of course, one buddy just went bust and was asking me about it. I think it's like a perfect little side job to poker. I don't know. Do you tip your Uber driver well? Thinking about the old days?
I tip them. I don't know. I tip them extra. They send me the little thing on the thing, and I usually I think give them the middle one.
Right. Okay.
I think it offers 1, 3, or 5, and I think if my ride's like $16, I'll give them $3. So it's not terrible, I don't think.
No, I wasn't accusing you of being cheap, but I just think when you're talking about poker, you said you didn't want a real job. I don't know if you felt kind of like at least the taxi driver, Uber. You're kind of self-employed, right? Is that the?
Well, no. When I drove taxi, I drove for another guy. Like I drove for a broker, and boy, I drove long hours. Like 1 week a month, I would drive from 3 p.m. till 6 a.m. 7 days in a row.
Oh, God.
I did that 1 week a month. Yeah, I mean, like I put in hours and hours and hours. So driving taxi was no walk in the park.
Okay, I have failed to bring you back nostalgically to taxi driving.
No, I'm not going back.
That ship has sailed, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going back, and I'm not going to drive Uber. I'm not personally. I just do not even have to drive. I like to get rides.
Sure.
Yeah. Right on. Well, if you got a little bit longer, Gavin, we've got a hand from a listener.
Okay.
Okay.
Steve, just try to use simple words because Steve just learned last week that a flush beats a straight.
Okay.
Right on. Tournament Poker Edge. You play tournaments. Mike and I play tournaments. Really get better at playing these things you and I love so much. Let's win some money. Watch the videos. Casey Jarzabek, Danny Noseworthy, Andrew Brokus, Mark Aliotto.
Carlos even has a free video he did up there with Andrew Brokus. Click on the link in the show notes for free training video, and you can watch Carlos's video with Andrew doing a review of his 100K guarantee win. When you join the club, you'll get access to almost 2,000 videos, playing from the button and blinds, hand history reviews, how to set up your HUD, using Bitcoin, and of course, tournament theory and strategy. Use the code HUP month, HUP quarter, or HUP year. Study and learn with other people that are just like us. It'll be the best thing you've ever done for your tournament game. I guarantee it.
Okay, this is the winner of the video series by Zach Elwood, Mason. Congratulations. I'll be contacting you by email, and you'll get your free gift. So thank you for participating. Mason writes in, and he said, this is a hand I played at my local card room. $240 buy-in, about 50 players, 20K starting stacks, second level, 200 blinds, no ante. 10-handed. I like all the details. 10-handed. Under the gun 2 opens to 600, so he opens to 3 big blinds. He is a tight older gentleman, maybe 60, and is usually talking to the other regulars. The cutoff calls 600. He's a 25-year-old kid with a lag style, so he's loose aggressive. Folds to me in the small blind, and I have ace-queen offsuit. We all have about 18,000 in chips or 85 big blinds. Okay, so what are you guys thinking here with ace-queen offsuit, small blind, UTG2, tight older guy opens to 3 bigs, loose guy in the cutoff calls, and we got ace-queen offsuit in the small blind.
Personally, for me, in that situation, most often I'm just going to not even bother with it. I'm going to fold. I rely pretty heavily on position. I don't want to play hands out of position, especially ones where I'm going to be guessing. So I would choose just, I've only got 100 in the pot. I would choose just to give it up there. I would never 3-bet. I guess once in a blue moon I might call, but most of the time I'm going to fold.
Wow, okay. See, I was thinking the option was between calling and 3-betting, but leaning towards 3-betting. But yeah, that's an interesting point. You're going to be out of position the rest of the hand. You got a guy in early position raising. Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay. All right. Let's see. Ranges. So he's given us ranges for UTG and cutoff. Maybe I should have read those before we asked this, but UTG2, he says ace-8 suited, 5s plus, ace-10 off plus, and then the 25.
Whoa. He just said it was a tight guy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. This seems kind of loose to me.
That can't be his range if it's a tight guy.
See, I was thinking ranges more like reading this, the tighter older gentleman, 60 years old. It's kind of painting a picture of like, I don't know, 9s plus.
I'm thinking ace jack and up and 10s are better. That's what I'm thinking if you tell me a tight guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like he's kind of loose then. What are you thinking here then?
Well, I think just quickly throw in, I think Gavin's point, which it almost, not that their range doesn't matter, but especially when you're deep, if you 3-bet, you're likely to get called by both, and now you're playing out of position.
Bloated.
Again, yeah.
Well, then you're gonna have to see that you're committing a lot of chips for nothing, and even when you call and then you flop an ace, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to take an aggressive line, and then run into ace king and say, oh shit, I should have known he had ace king, or what? Like, it's just such a gross situation that I just choose, generally speaking. I don't call very many raises out of the blinds. I used to.
Are you calling here from the small blind with like 7-9 suited and those kind of hands? Much more.
I'd be more likely to call with that than I would be with ace queen.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Like I just don't want to put myself in the guessing game.
Yeah. When you're out of position. Yeah. Okay. Cutoff. Pairs, Jack-9 suited plus, Ace-8 off plus, Ace-X suited plus.
Ace-8 off?
That's what he says.
Who the hell's calling raises with Ace-8 off these days? That's ridiculous.
I don't know. Apparently a 25-year-old kid with a loose aggressive style.
He's probably listened to this podcast before. Let's give him some sympathy here.
Okay.
If the guy's calling with ace 8 off, he'll be driving taxi soon.
Yes. All right. Okay, Mason writes, I feel my hand is too strong to fold, but I think the UTG player has a decent range because he got quiet and stopped talking when he raised. Yeah, I would say that puts him kind of tight. I call and we see a flop. Big blind folded. Okay, the flop, we've got ace queen off suit, 1800 in the pot, and the flop is ace king queen rainbow.
2000 in the pot with the big blind, but yeah. Okay.
Oh, you're right, 2000 in the pot. I bet out for pot, 1800. Okay, so maybe there was 2000, whatever, it's about the same.
Okay.
UTG thinks for a moment and makes it 4400. Cutoff takes a while, maybe 15 seconds. I thought he was pondering a fold or a call, but then he stands up, pushes his chips in, and says all in. Now it is on us. Can we ever get away from this hand? Fold. What's that?
So you instantly fold.
I think this is a fold, right?
It's absolutely a fold.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking the same thing. If when UTG raises us, like, what is he doing that with? Like, is he really doing that with ace 10 or ace jack?
No.
I think he's got
If he is good for him, sometimes you get outplayed in poker. It happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Old guy, he might want to get out of there and go to the early bird special, but we don't know that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Can we ever give it away from this hand? I take a while thinking about what UTG and the cutoff could have. What would you guys do here? I think this is a fold. And then especially because the cutoff, like, he pushes all in. Like, at that point, what are you really beating?
Did he end up calling?
Results. I can't find a fold, so I go all into UTG tanks and then calls. Never good. UTG has ace king suited. Cutoff has jack 10 suited for the straight. We don't catch a queen. GG.
Yeah.
Was this a cooler? Or was
right. I mean,
fold?
Basically, if you had taken the cutoff guy out of the play, and I made it 1800 and the guy made it 4400, I would have folded to that bet.
I think that's a fold right there too, right?
Yeah.
Because what's he doing that with? Ace 10 or ace jack, which we beat, and everything else he's not doing that with jacks. He's not doing it with tens.
If you did call pre-flop, Gavin, do you like leading out on the flop?
I don't mind the lead, but he just has to understand why he's doing what he's doing. And the purpose of leading is to gain information, right? Yeah. Well, he gained information. He got it. They gave him all the information he needed, and he still called.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, in that case, if I'm that particular player, I might not lead out because obviously I'm not able to catch on to the information.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll see what happens. I mean, he got exactly what he was looking for. He was looking to find out whether or not he was good. He got told it wasn't good, and he went with it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just a discipline problem. That's not a poker problem.
Yeah, I think you're right. But, well, Mason, you won the video series, and so we'll get you'll get a bunch of live tells from that, and I've watched it twice already. It's awesome, and at the end of it, there's even a 2-hour one where he breaks down a heads-up match. Mike, you would like that. It's with Kate Hall.
I've been writing her love letters repeatedly for 18 months, Steve. Her attorney's all on my ass, so let's not bring that up. Thank you.
Well, she'll get back to you, Mike. Just keep trying.
You're in love with Kate Hall?
Not really. Steve, women obsessed. Steve is he's making a joke there. I don't know much about her.
Right on. Well, thank you for coming on, Gavin. This was fun.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, and you guys can check out Gavin at 64 Spades. You can use his code, Gavin640. Thank you for tuning in, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
I quit. Fine. Call me a quitter. I don't care. I just can't do this anymore. I've changed. You're not to blame, I'm just not the same person you knew before. So, not to be rude at all, but I'm done trying to live up to your expectations and down to them. Basically, I quit being bound to them. I quit following everyone's opinion of what's right for me. I quit holding myself back, living emotionally trapped and not being who I'd like to be. I quit being loyal to these negative thoughts that have never been useful. I quit letting the guilt of my past get in my path and deprive me of a beautiful future. I quit letting people who have proven it they don't really care about me get to me. I quit hanging out with friends who on most days I couldn't tell you if they're friends or enemies, draining my energy. I quit letting society's expectations and timetables pressure me, direct my destiny and stress me. I quit forgiving everyone else in the whole world except me. I quit wanting the cool kids to accept me. I quit not saying what's on my mind at important times, letting fear come near and suppress me. I quit being so emotionally tied to the likes and shares of people I barely know online. I quit self-doubt and self-sabotage. I quit being a screw-up and a gonna-doer. I quit sleepwalking through life instead of living my dreams. I quit waiting for ducks to line up instead of spreading my wings. I quit not giving 100%. I quit dimming my light so that others won't have to squint. I quit peer pressure and people pleasing. I quit the prison of perfection. I quit the fear of failure and the fear of success. I quit hesitation, desperation, expectations, devastations. I quit